Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast is number 1365. The topic is training. The title is Squat Positioning Corrections, and I'm here with my beautiful, amazing wife.
Hi.
Yes. So thank you for joining me again today.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have a fun one for everybody, or at least I hope so. But we're going to talk about a little more
If
detail.
you're a gym nerd, it'll be fun.
Yes. If you're into gym stuff, which I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, pretty good podcast to find for that. Yes. So we're going to talk about your squats. Now, we've talked about the process in which we've gone through for your squats before. And a couple past podcasts, if you want to kind of dive into those old ones to learn a little bit of background, is podcast 1345. It is a training podcast. Again, the title is with Meredith, and it was permanent rehab. One of the things that was neat about that one was we talked about in that podcast, you went 6 months without squatting.
Yeah.
Due to life.
And
we were able to come back after 6 months and pick up right where we left off.
it was nuts.
Yes. Now, we had talked about that kind of being like a little bit of a surprise.
Yes.
But pleasant one.
But also, like I said, I was like, well, I trust you. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Because we also do, like, a little stuff home.
Mm-hmm.
But wild that. And maybe because it was such a shock, because I knew where I was starting and how my knees pinched and cracked. Like, and I knew my starting point so much.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh my God, it's nowhere near that. So
Yeah.
it was really a shock.
So that was really cool, and that's part of why we named it permanent rehab. Was it was nice to know that I can take 6 months away and I don't lose anything.
Squatting, yeah.
Yeah. How many people, if you followed a crash diet, you took 6 months away from that diet, you're sure as heck not going to stay where you were. So it was nice to know that.
Because trash diets are bad.
Yeah.
Trash diets.
Yeah, trash diets, not crash diets, yes. So it was nice. That was a good surprise. A good podcast for that. Then back at podcast 1083, training podcast with Meredith, it was titled Rehab Effects on Strength Progressions. And in that one we touched on how when you're trying to go through rehab, you don't get to squat a lot of weight. You don't get to do a lot of like your old PRs and all the crazy intensities. You have to kind of back things down to give the body time to adjust to new positions and new stress loads.
And that's where we talked about bajillion RDLs.
Yeah, bajillion RDLs, and also just, it's a confidence hit, like kind of at that time. Yeah.
You don't own the gym on those days. You're just
No.
like, yeah. That's where I talked about it. I was like, I'm not posting anything on Instagram. I do post journeys when I do a competition or CrossFit stuff, but it was just like, no one wants to see me do these things.
Yeah,
Like,
and
this isn't fun.
it is challenging because a
So,
lot
like-
of times on Instagram you see people's, like I call them Instagram moments with clients, is like, I'm like, in today's workout, no Instagram moments. Like, don't go crazy. Don't try.
yeah.
If it's 3 sets of 5, it's not 3 sets of 5 that might kill me, just 5 that are good.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is challenging in rehab. You're doing what's right.
Yeah, you do it for
But
a purpose.
it doesn't look impressive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not the best thing you've ever done. Yeah. It's challenging. So those are 2 podcasts you can listen to kind of learn a little more about the background of what we've been going through. And then why we're doing the podcast today is Meredith and I were talking in the gym, and back when we started analyzing your squat, which was at the very end of 2019.
Yes.
And we started looking at kind of squat mechanics. And we've talked a little bit about this before, but to rehash it, you were working with somebody else as a coach, and totally fine with me. I told you I wanted a ring, not a trophy.
Yep.
So I wanted to marry you. And then eventually, as you got to know more about me, you're like, hey, maybe this guy knows a few things.
Yeah.
So he could probably help. So,
Yeah.
So we started working together and looking at your squat. And at that time, I knew where we would have to go to get your squat to feel efficient and safe.
Yeah.
And today...
And I had no idea.
Yes, you had no idea. So I was just like, oh no, we can do it. We can fix it.
And
Yeah.
today,
we did it. Yeah.
we got there.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was amazing.
It was so cool.
Yeah, how did you tell them how you felt with today's squats? Like
Badass.
There you go.
It was awesome. It was just like, you rack the weight and you go, that felt like it was the barbell.
Yeah. And that's what you were saying. You're like, it feels so light.
That was so light.
Yeah.
It was like, you think you do sets of 1 or 3? We ended up doing 5s.
Yes,
Sets
you were
of 5.
crushing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it felt so good.
Yes,
It was
and
nice.
that was super exciting.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was just kind of talk through the steps that we went through, and kind of in the context of saying like 2 points that I think would be good for people to make that I can think of, and if you can add more if you want, is that through the process of dealing with rehab or correcting positions or correcting pains and stuff, is you have to be patient, but you also have to be consistent.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah. So when we said like we took 6 months away from squatting, you were still dieting every day.
That's why I said squatting.
Yes,
and that was it.
exactly.
Still diet.
Yeah, you're still doing a Bowflex.
Bowflex, cable stack from time to time, glute stuff.
Yeah, and then we bought a Bowflex that has an up and down pathway because
it's called the Bowflex Max.
There you go.
If you want to look for it.
Yeah, M9 Bowflex Max M9. But it was really cool because the pathway, a traditional elliptical pathway.
I was like, where does he even see the M9 on this machine?
I'm just making it up. No, it actually is. It actually is M9. Yes. So a traditional elliptical is more of a horizontal path. This one has a vertical, which I knew would help us stretch the calves and work on the knee tissues.
Yeah.
So even though it seems like you're just doing an elliptical, in part, it is part of the rehab process.
We also bought it because I was on the beach crying.
Yeah, that was not a good day. That was a rough one. So,
I'm just kicking my ass. I don't like the way I look. Which I still had made a ton of progress, but I was like, I don't feel like me.
Yeah, so we were talking about
so
that.
So it's helped-ish.
Yeah.
Blank time.
And we ordered it that day on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
it's
no
been
more,
awesome.
No more crying on the beach. We can't do that. Yeah. So, but that was part. So when we say we took time off of squatting, like the process is, it is long. Sometimes it takes a year, 2 years, even 3 years. But if you're consistent, that's kind of the balance. It's challenging to put in effort every day, but not necessarily know if the effort's working.
Right.
That is a very hard balance.
Yeah.
And I think what helped you, if I'm speaking from my point of view, is you had me to tell you that you're doing okay.
Obviously, yeah. I couldn't have done it without a coach. Couldn't have done it without you.
It's hard because you have one person that sees the vision, the other person has to put in the work.
I would have starved myself and done cardio and all of the things I like doing, and none of the things I had to do.
Yeah, and that's what we all pretty much do. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but that would be one kind of thing is be patient through the process, but be consistent. Try to do something a little bit every day to always be working towards it. And then the other point is you don't have to lift in pain. So you said your knees used to pinch when you squatted, and that's why we first ever started looking at it, because I was like, well, we don't want that. Like, your knees don't have to pinch. And it was almost like, well, they've always pinched. Like, what do you mean?
I don't understand. Yeah.
That's just what squats are. And I'm like, oh, no. No, please, no. So, yes. So that was kind of the big things we want to get across through the rest of what we talk about is to be patient, but be consistent with your efforts. And you don't have to accept lifting in pain.
Yeah,
yes. Now, the first thing we did to address your squats was very painful. I massaged your calves.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how far over 100 was the pain of that?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the worst.
It was one of those.
It was one of those.
Yes. So, but yeah, we had to do a lot of calf massage because that was a big issue. So, real quick, give them a rundown of like your history of movement.
Oh, the auctioneer version is like 24 years of dance, a couple years of running because I was psycho. Like 4:30, put on your headlamp and run. Like,
that is psycho running.
That's psycho.
That's psycho running.
A little bit of yoga, and then CrossFit, and then CrossFit competitions, coaching CrossFit, and then bodybuilding.
Oh, I just happened to win a bodybuilding show.
Bodybuilding, yeah.
Oh, geez, that I almost forgot that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I won that, and then placed in top 5.
In a huge show, yeah.
Yeah, it was massive. And then just kind of like, I don't know, life crapped the bed at that point for like 5 years, and I did a little bit here and there when I could. Yeah,
so you achieved awesome things, and you have a long history of movement.
Yeah.
Now, one of the aspects we talked about before was dance is turnout. Do you want to explain to them kind of a little bit what turnout is?
Yeah, turnout. Basically, I don't know, you put your feet like duck feet.
Yeah, so your feet, or instead of your toes pointing forward, they point straight to the side.
Well, like 45 degrees.
45, yes.
Angles. And then you have to like turn your hips out. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like when you do a stretch on your belly and you bring your legs up. Like, what do you call that stretch?
A miracle?
Like
I can't.
Yeah.
Frog, it's called a frog stretch.
The frog stretch.
Frog stretch, yes.
So it's like that, but like all the time.
Yes, and you can do it amazingly well. And my job was to stop that from happening.
Yeah. You need to not be able to do that anymore.
Yes, so your whole leg bone, including everything from the hip down,
was turned.
Was at like 45-degree angle.
It was turned. My whole femur, everything turned.
Yes, so when you used to, in CrossFit, you used to do cleans, you would, quote unquote, catch the clean. And your knee would like hit the floor. Then you'd find a way to stand up, and you'd be like, "I got it."
Yeah. Do you really have to squat? Can't I just power this? Like you do know power everything is harder. No, it's not.
No. So yes. So that was the first thing we did. Was we I remember us taking photos in the living room of your bodyweight squat and what it looked like.
In the post.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
I think I was in my sushi pants.
Yeah, you were sushi pants. But your shins basically could not go forward.
No.
Your foot and your foot and your shin was at a 90-degree angle or more extended. Your shins didn't go forward. Yeah. Like you were in a permanent.
My back was a tabletop.
Yes, and I remember.
And I was like, I don't understand.
Like I know that you knew. Like, and I was like, we'll go ahead and squat, and it's like. That was weird.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that?
What is that? Yeah. And I have pictures of me doing overhead squats at, 185?
Yeah, and you're...
In that position?
Yeah, your arms were behind you, not even over your head. They're like literally 90 degrees behind you to try to grab...
My shoulders are...
Yeah. But that was the reason why we started with the calves was your shins literally didn't go forward.
No, but I wouldn't know that they were like supposed to.
Yeah, and that's like, in my mind, I'm like, oh dear God, like, how have you survived anything you've ever done? Yeah. This is crazy, man. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. So that was the first thing we went through, and it was massage therapy, lots of stretching, and we're still kind of working on and off on that, but it's significant improvement now. Yeah. But I'm assuming through that process, it was a lot of pain, and you're like, I hope this is necessary,
it was like,
otherwise this is a lot of pain.
This better stop soon.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't fun, but I've talked about in other podcasts where it's like I'm the type of person that, all right, this is what I need to do. This is the plan to get there. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, you're 100% in.
100%.
Like when you do it, you do it. Yeah. So that was the first thing we went through, and that was different from the other stages we're about to talk through because I feel like that one was probably the most physically painful. And some of the rest was the calf stretching, like when I had to dig through your calves with my thumbs and stuff. That was a lot of physical pain. Yeah. So you did great with that. Then we had to progress on to correcting the excessive external rotation of the hip. Yeah. And that would be like when we were trying to do like bodyweight squats, lunges, RDLs, and I was asking you to point your toes straight. And you were rightfully saying, my toes don't go straight. Yeah. How am I supposed to do this?
They feel like they're turned inwards.
So we used to do a lot of single leg stiff leg deadlifts with a back leg.
I didn't know, and I still don't know, like I don't know why doing those things straightens it.
Oh, this is
lovely. Happened, but I don't know why.
Yeah, so basically the internal, well, this is going to be a weird term, the internal external rotators of the hip, which doesn't make any sense. So under the gluteus maximus.
Well, it makes sense.
Yes. It's like so the internal muscles, yes, that externally rotate the femur, they were all shortened and crazy tight.
Yeah.
So we had to get your body to be able to be willing to stretch them longer than they've been stretched in years, but also since they hadn't been stretched that far in years, they had no strength and no stabilization.
Right.
They were so it was like trying to ride a unicycle. Like you know how to ride a bike, but it's not the same. So we would do single leg stiff leg deadlifts, even just body weight, where the back leg. I would ask you to keep the toes pointing to the ground.
And like my toe was like right up to the ceiling.
Yes. So every listener now, if you have the ability, if you're not driving, if you try to do a single leg stiff leg deadlift, most often the back foot will flare pointing out to the side. And I was asking you to keep your toe pointed down because that forced a stretch into a new range of motion that your external rotators had not stretched into. So we were doing that.
That was the most humbling experience.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The most humbling.
That was rough. And part of it is like as the person coaching the person, like I've been through some doozies of injuries myself and like some rehabs, and I know what you would feel like, but it is a bummer because at that moment I can't do anything. I can just tell you the right thing to do, but I can't share the pain or share the misery of that moment with you, unfortunately. I can't take it away from you. If I could, I would. But it is challenging because you're struggling to do something that feels like you're having trouble tying your shoes. I'm like, I've tied my shoes for my whole life. How am I screwing this up? It feels so weird.
Bullshit.
Yes. But that was something we had to work a lot on, was coaxing the external rotators of the hip to allow greater range of motion. But as they would give us...
opened but didn't open.
Yes. So it had to open, like, to give us more internal rotation.
Right.
Freedom. But we had to strengthen every ounce. Like, every little centimeter it would give us of stretching, we had to strengthen that so it would stay.
Strengthen it.
Yes, because it won't stay. Like, if you increase range of motion, if you do stretches and mobility work, but you don't strengthen that new range of motion, it disappears.
Right.
Because the body has to protect itself. If it doesn't feel strong there, it's never going to let itself go there. So every time your body would give us a centimeter, we had to strengthen it.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was a rough process, but that was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to looking at the knees. So since your knees never got to stretch beyond, like since the shins wouldn't angle forward, the knees never got closed much. Like very rarely did you ever get to a 90-degree angle in your knee. Almost never. You would have closed at your hip joint, damn near 185 because you'd fold
like
over.
If I squatted here.
Yeah, you never got your knees to a 90-degree angle because you'd fall over.
Yeah.
So your knees had never stretched the
That
tissues
was
of
why
the
I was
knees.
like, always on my toes. I was
Absolutely.
Immediately toes.
Yeah.
Immediate.
The knees had no strength beyond, like, not even to a 90. So that was like to get you to 90 was challenging.
Yeah.
But to then have your knees willing to close any more than that was brand new to you. And due to the external rotation, the inside tissues of your knee were very strong. Yeah. But there was no outside tissues to the knee.
And is that why the outside of my knee pinched?
Yes. So it was very challenging because it's like trying to move a puppet where half the strings are tied in knots. It's not going to move right. It's going to move wonky. So as we were fixing the hip, it allowed us, and fixing the hip and fixing the calf, it allowed us to close the knee angle in squatting movements, but we had never built the tissues on the front side of the knee to deal with that stretch load.
Yeah.
So we had to strengthen those. So it took us a year or some to get you in our hack squat machine, our Nebula hack squat, which allowed us to force a closure. And it was a year where you couldn't even do that machine.
I couldn't do it. One and I was done.
Yeah. Now we do it as a warm-up for our squat.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it was something that took a long time
accidentally, like, bottoming out at the bottom.
Yeah, now you can bottom it out, which is
crazy.
Amazing, yes. And then we did a lot of, like, weird, like, razor lunges and odds and ends of things I made you do to strengthen the knee tissues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a lot of work where very small movements and very frustrating movements, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we went to developing the lower glutes and hamstrings.
Yeah, that's fun.
The 40 billion RDLs I made you do. Yes.
But the glutes are looking great, though.
Yes. Yeah, so you can talk a little bit about that, like the glute shape change.
Well, like during all of this process, which has been 2.5 years.
Yes.
We started like December 2019.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So 2.5 years. And we also decided I wanted to go from a physique to a figure.
That's true. That's a very good point.
So, like, also during all this rehab and strengthening all of these things to get better at squatting, to also get better at cleaning, we changed my shape.
Yeah.
And one of them, because my glutes, I call them, like, concave, or they were, like, shelf. It was, like, I don't know. It didn't look good.
It was way more upper glute and almost non-existent lower glute.
Non-existent lower glute, all to upper.
Yeah.
So now I'm finally getting that, like, round shape, which is so cool. Like, today I got thrilled because I, like, finally saw it.
Yes. Yeah,
You know,
and that is...
oh, wow, that looks totally different than it did 2 years ago. But it was, like, night and day, where it's like, you've always just imagined you look one way until all of a sudden you see yourself in a totally different way.
That's awesome,
You know?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've experienced that.
Yes,
we
have.
loss and dysmorphia.
But that is a very good point. Like, through all of this wasn't the only thing we were doing.
Correct.
And there was also other things we had to do outside of the gym, and we still were able to achieve all this through all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it, 2020? Like, what happened in 2020? What was that? Yeah, didn't the world shut down?
Yeah.
Like, didn't the world close?
I give this.
Yeah.
I feel like, because I feel like we give the rundown all the time. They're like, I know. But it was.
Well, in case they haven't listened, yeah.
It's true. Interview. I went through like 3 rounds of interviews for a really cool job opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled it the day before I was supposed to start because the world shut down. There was a hiring freeze, so I was unemployed.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any type of unemployment. We were trying to... I was following, like, the baby steps financially, so I was attacking debt and, like, didn't have a huge savings, and now I have no job and hiring freeze all over the place. So I interviewed. I was in grad school. Was doing very well there, but it was, like, hanging on by a thread. Got the job I have now, which I absolutely love. I'm very blessed. But that took 600 applications to get there.
Yeah, so that was a lot of stress before that job came.
I had, like, a lot of night terrors. Your dad had cancer. My mom had a stroke. We planned our wedding. Our whole entire wedding that we thought was going to happen, like, went out the window. Yeah, that's true, yeah. And it ended up being, like, perfect for us. But I know there was, like, more in there. That was just, like, to name a few.
Yeah, that's to name some, yes. And then there's been a lot more. So, like, so that was the cool thing is through this, like, the 2.5 years, and I'm pretty sure everybody listening right now can say, yeah, the last 2.5 years had a lot more in that, like, stress-wise, than other 2.5 years we've been through in our lives. Yeah. So I remember, like, when I was 22 to 24, things being this stressful.
Yeah, because like, when we also met, my palms looked like I attacked it with a cheese grater. Like my left palm was, like, wide open. Yeah. Like, just consistently open.
Not just from crazy stress,
From stress prior to 2020.
Yes.
Prior to.
Yeah. That's
and
nuts.
It healed in 2020.
Which
all
is
of those
crazy.
things I just said was least stress than, like, 2018 for me.
Yeah, which is bonkers.
Like
bonkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, so it was a matter of, like, okay, if we sleep tonight, that's a win.
Yeah.
If I can sleep through the night, that's a win.
Yeah.
If I can go for a 1 mile walk, that's a win. It was, like, massive baby steps.
Yeah. But you, like, I give you a ton of credit. You kept going.
Thank you. Yeah. And I was like, I really want to build my glutes, and I want a different shape. And the whole time, Rob would say to me, he's like, oh, that's perfect, because if we do this movement, you'll build your glute for figure, and it'll get, what do you call the spot where this meets that, and that'll help with
the
squats.
little tie-in, like the lower glute hamstring tie-in,
Like, that'll help with squats, and you'll have shape. And I'm like, perfect. Whatever we need to do so I can do both, we'll do that.
And that was fun for me because this is going to, I don't know what this is going to sound like. It's boring if you only work on one thing.
Right.
Like programming-wise.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
So it's more fun to say, okay, here's a list of movements that would help grow the lower glutes. Yeah. But here's a list of movements that would help fix your unique issues with squats.
Right.
Now, which of those ones overlap and which one matches the equipment we have and the timing and frequency of training. Yeah. So that's way more fun. That's way more fun.
You're awesome.
I love it.
So I'm like, I don't want to think. Can you just tell me?
And I'm like, I love thinking. Or at least about this. Yes. Yeah. But that was cool. So even through all this, we've been able to change your shape.
My shape has changed drastically.
Yeah,
I'm so much leaner. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I saw abs, like my upper, my abs. The morning after eating a pint of ice cream for dinner.
Yes, you have bagel every morning for breakfast, pasta for lunch, and ice cream for dinner.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Not all the time.
Not all. Yeah. Let's not get crazy.
No. But can't tell them all our secrets.
Yeah. In my dream, when we woke up, I told Rob, I was like, my dream was so weird. It involved this, like, weird, crazy neighborhood, but somehow I was in some kind of, like, restaurant in this weird neighborhood, surrounded by, it was like a round table full of women, and they were all going around the room talking about, like, around the table talking about, like, Weight Watchers. Yeah. Which I did eons ago. But then they got to me, and I'm like, this is all stupid. Like, you don't have to just, like, starve yourself. Yeah. I was like, I eat bagels and pasta and ice cream. And I saw my abs today.
And then they killed you in the dream.
And then they chased me down. They turned into a team of rabid dogs and chased me down.
That's great.
It was so funny.
Yes.
But that was because I finally saw abs again.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yes. And through all of 2020, we had, like, that wedding dress. Yes. Like, we got fitted, and then they told us to order, like, a size 10.
They made me sign a waiver that I wouldn't, like,
return the dress. They're like, you legally know you can't return the dress. We're like, we're fine.
I was like, I've never felt good thing I have confidence and I know what I'm capable of, because that was like that would put someone into a shame spiral real fast.
Oh, hell yeah. They wanted you to...
Sure? You better sign this, because we want you to buy a 10 and you're not buying this, so here's a form.
Yeah, they like, triple checked.
Damn.
No,
God.
Yes. But
All
yeah, so
right.
they said 10. We ordered a 4, and they still had to take
And
it
they
in.
took it in.
Yeah.
And I've lost a ton since that point.
Yes. So it's been pretty awesome.
It's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I leave good or bad. At the end of like every workout, I feel like I have more to do.
Yes.
Every single time. You're like, that's all we need. And I'm like, but.
Yeah. And it's like, we're not here to destroy the body. We're here to promote it to improve.
Yeah.
There's like what's optimal versus what's maximal.
Yeah. So like every once in a while, I get to just like stay in the gym for a few hours.
Yeah. You just put your headphones in and go nuts.
Yeah. Sweat a lot.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Which is exciting, but it is something that people, I think, would be helpful to hear.
You don't need to.
You're not
need
there
to
to
beat
destroy
yourself
yourself. Yeah.
God, like the way of training and my way of thinking has changed so much. Like we got to today,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we got today. We did sets of 5 225.
Yeah. Which is a PR, I believe, for you. Like,
Yeah, I think
pretty much.
so.
Yeah. So we're now squatting with the best the best mechanical technique you've ever had.
And it's so bizarre.
And you hit a PR.
Yeah, it was cool.
Surprise,
And then-
surprise.
And then we learned also today I did low bar squats for the first time.
Yeah, that
ever
was
in
our
my life.
final adjustment was getting out of high bar into low bar.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
just feels bizarre.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
You smoked it.
I didn't feel weight. Like, I'll say that.
Yeah. Like you said, it felt like the empty bar when it was like 155.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it felt like the barbell. It's just so weird.
And that was kind of
So
all of
cool.
the transition. So when we switched to low bar and we saw that it was letting you hit parallel, you felt super strong in it. That was when I made the comment of like, we're here.
Yeah.
We made it.
He got... Y'all, he got so excited in the gym. It was the cutest thing.
No.
But, you know, I'm biased. But it was the cutest thing ever because he got so... Rob loves this stuff so much. And he gets so pumped. And he gets so happy for people. Because I see it when, like, it happens to your other clients.
Yes. Yes.
But, like, he was so pumped. He was like, oh, my God, this is so cool. It's so awesome. Like, this is where everyone wanted to get, like, 3 years ago. And I was like, damn. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's awesome. I was like, we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because, like, today was the day. And it's, like, in our mind. And, like, on our mind. So I was like, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I was super excited because it really was... Whenever
You were so excited.
the first time you squatted, I knew this is where we had to go.
The first time you saw me squat, you're like, oh, God.
Well, no, it was just like you moved one, like you used to do one squat, and I'm like, I know where she needs to be.
It was
And then
nuts.
it's like, okay,
it's
how do I get her
amazing.
there now?
It's amazing that you knew.
Yeah. So it was super
So
awesome.
cool.
So I was very excited, yes. Because it's like you have this vision, you believe it's going to work, you go through all the steps, and then boom, it works. And it's
then here
freaking
you are.
awesome. Yeah.
And my shape is completely different. I see abs, and I'm the strongest I've ever been, and my knees don't pinch.
Amazing.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So I'm very happy
Yeah.
for you. I'm just, I don't know. You're somebody I love you the most out of
Yeah.
everything. Like, you're
Yeah.
in my world.
Yeah.
And to see you be able to be happy and pain-free is priceless. Like,
pretty
it's
cool.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm like fired up, and I want to go squat every day. And you're gonna be like, you don't have to do that.
Well, maybe we can.
Yeah.
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 So I remember, like, when squat every day was, like, a big craze. Especially, I think it was mostly, like,
Was
CrossFit
it?
world. They had, like, squat 50 days in a row or 500 days in a row or something.
CrossFit always does stupid
It was something like squat every day, and I remember I had to write clients, like, I'm like, here, if you're going to do that, here, do it this way. Because
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
at least you're not going to kill yourself. So, yeah.
I love how when you say that, I'm like, I don't know, probably. It sounds like you do that and then more. So,
Yeah.
like, it's...
What, squat every day? That's definitely CrossFit.
Yeah, that's all the time.
Yeah.
Back squat, front squat,
Yes.
clean, and do, like, 1,000 muscle-ups in a day.
It's
There's your workout.
fantastic. Yes. Now, I laugh because
Don't eat
I do
rice.
work with CrossFit coaches and stuff. So they're probably all like, what the hell, Rob?
I
Don't
could
throw us
say
under the
it.
bus.
Look it up. Fit to Teach on YouTube.
That's true, yeah.
CrossFit HQ
Mm-hmm.
did a series, and I'm in it.
Yes.
Full on CrossFit coached. Did a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
And
I still really like CrossFit. I just think that they should let you eat rice.
yeah, it's okay to eat some carbohydrates every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay if you don't want to back squat 3 days in a row.
Yeah, that's
Maybe we
okay.
could do something a
Yeah.
little bit different. Yes, but it is true. Like, each individual, like, barbell sport has their own, like, like, stereotype.
Oh God, right.
Yes.
And I've done it all. It
Yes.
feels like I've done it all.
You've done amazing. Yeah, And we've talked about like getting you into doing powerlifting.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Which would be awesome.
It'd be really fun.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I'm just super happy for you. It was cool to see today that what we had been working on for 2.5 years.
We got here.
Boom.
Today.
We did it.
It's here.
Yeah.
We made it.
What?
We made it.
Yeah.
We made it.
So, but I'm super happy for you, and I hope other people find motivation for what they're working through.
I just want to say, be patient. Be patient. Follow the program.
Mm-hmm.
Do the things. Follow the program. Be consistent. And give yourself grace, because I mean, my habit tracker, there's days where it's like, okay, so we didn't go to the gym this month.
Yeah. It's tough. Like,
I mean, really, we went on our anniversary because it's what we do.
Yes, that's true.
And then we showed up, June?
June something. Yeah. It was 6 months you weren't able to get to the gym.
Yeah.
But we were able to still do the diet, do the training stuff at home.
Yeah.
You know, you still stayed up with what you could control within what else you had to control.
But I had to give myself a lot of grace. And that mentally is just as much a skill as like squatting properly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like being able to not beat yourself up.
Manage your self-talk.
You can like acknowledge it and let it go. That was my yoga training, right? Just like be aware, let it come into your mind, acknowledge it, let it pass, breathe out.
I hear you. Now leave me alone.
Yeah. Even though like I laugh because when I did try to do yoga, I would just get up and leave during Savasana. Like the end where you're supposed to lay there. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Get up and leave. I left the room every time.
That's fantastic. Yes.
Oh, God. Just like calm down. I'm like, no.
Well, I think it's awesome. Like, you did a good job managing it. Like, I have other people. Like, one guy I'm working with, he was in a big, like, motorcycle wreck.
Right, yeah.
And, I mean, enormous injuries out the wazoo. And he's learning to squat again. Yeah. And he can't, like, he has a foot that he can't dorsiflex.
Yeah.
Like he can't like pull his toes up, and he can't move in certain ways, and he's struggling through box squats right now.
Is that the one that looks awesome?
Yeah. So I'm happy for him because, like, I've sent him videos anytime he has any like mental struggles. He puts that in the journal. Yeah. So that's something like as you're struggling through a process, be patient, but it's okay to be vocal. Like it's okay to talk through what you're struggling through. Yeah. You know, like that's one of the reasons why I love having the journals with my clients.
Yeah, because mental toughness doesn't mean like don't talk about it or like repress it. Like you have to acknowledge it.
Yeah, and it's actually helpful. Like I sent him videos of people who've had similar struggles and stuff. So it's helpful to have like a community, whether that's gym members, friends, you know, whether it is a coach or somebody you're working with. But it's a hard and long journey to travel alone, and there's no need for you to be alone. Like, you know, there's people who would understand and people who can support.
Yeah, very grateful for you in this journey.
Well, thank you.
Today was pretty cool.
Yes, I'm so happy for you.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and thank you for letting me be involved. Like, I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh yeah, guinea pig.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like whatever you say, you just will do it.
It worked. Yeah. Okay.
It was cool.
I know you.
I love you.
Very happy. Okay, we'll move on now. We're just kind of probably making everybody else throw up. So, great.
Don't settle for less.
There you go. Yes. I waited for the best. Yeah. Okay. But I think that's everything. We'll probably
that's it. That's
good.
a wrap.
Yeah.
We hit all of the points.
Yes. So if
you'll hear from us again.
Yeah, that's true. So if you are having any issues with rehab or anything like that, feel free to reach out. You know, our email is brutaliron@gmail.com. If you want to talk to Meredith and share your feelings with her, I'm sure she'd be happy to read it. I can help as well. So we're here to support if you're having any issues. Yeah. And then if you do like the podcast, whether it's today's podcast or podcast in general, please consider sharing it. The more people you share it with, the more people can help. And that's the whole goal. Yeah. And then we do want to thank the patrons of the podcast, the people who financially support the podcast, which you can now do on our website at www.brutalirongym.com. The podcast is well over $1,000 a year for hosting costs. I take an hour for it every single day, and we want to keep it for free and keep it every day. Yeah. And it's only thanks to the patrons that we're able to do that. So thank you to those who do give support. I truly, truly appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you. And if you like the information we share in our podcast, you can find more from us on our social media channels on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. If you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, anything you want to know, let us know at our email, brutalirongym@gmail.com. Well, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes. And then, as always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.
Bye.